Welcome. So excited to have you here. If you're tuning in live, I'm going to wait a little bit to just make sure we get as many people on live with us as we can. If you're watching the replay, please drop replay in the comments. My name is Meg. We are coming to you live right now from Rhythmia Life Advancement Center in sunny Guanacaste, Costa Rica. If you're on our page, you probably know a little bit about what we do here. We are in the business of miracles and helping people rediscover the truth of who they are, merge back with their soul, and have their heart healed. It's a really, really beautiful and epic process. And today's Facebook Live, I'm filling in for the lovely Kim Terranova. This is I Got My Miracle. Now, for this young lady who I have with me here, Maria, it was touch and go for a little bit for her this week with her miracle. And that's why I thought it would be a really beautiful conversation for us to have here today. So we're going to get right into it. Maria, what brought you here to Rhythmia this week?
You know, as you asked me that question, I was like, I actually wasn't 100% clear on what brought me here. I just had a clear yes. When a group of my friends, I came here with a group of friends, were presented with the opportunity. And I have heard and have other friends that have done the medicine, and I never felt a yes. I was like, not for me, not for me. And this time I was like, I almost felt like if I didn't go, I was going to miss out. And I said, I don't know exactly, but I can tell you that I had a deep awareness that I was getting on my way. Mm-hmm. And I'm a very hardworking person, and I'm an immigrant. I live in the U.S. and I sort of had to face that whole, immigrant by yourself, doing it all by yourself for so long. And I just sometimes would cry at night. It's like, I'm so tired. Yeah. I'm just so tired. So I think that's the only thing I can think of that I wanted to that be lifted from me. Yeah. That this working so hard. And that loneliness of the working so hard. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, it's interesting how it all comes to yes. to pass. So let's talk a little bit about your experience. I was there with you in ceremony on Monday. You were having a hard time, I think, surrendering, yes. right? Having a hard time just being in the process, yes. right? Do you want to share a little bit about that? Because it was that's how you were feeling through most of the week.
Yeah. So Monday, again, no idea. Even the friends that I met that have done plant medicine, I never really even cared to ask them. So I sort of went into like, okay, let's see what happens. And that experience at first was I felt overwhelmed with, all the colors and everything that was happening. And then my body sort of started to responding what I will think is involuntarily, but I understand there was the resistance that I was putting to because I wanted to control. And that's a pattern of someone that works so hard. And it's always like me, had to get it going and make it happen. And all of you, I told you, I never opened my eyes. I opened my eyes once. Kept coming in. Someone said to my ear, healing doesn't have to be hard. Mm-hmm. And this is someone, right, working hard. So that I kept repeating that. Everything that you came and whispered to my ear, I try to tell myself. But at the same time, it's just overwhelm and fear. However, after a while, then I turned into a 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. And I started hearing instructions and questions and answers. And that brought so much ease and joy. And I started giggling for a long period of time. It was... when you lose time when you're there. But then towards the end, that's what I felt that maybe like she met me at that place where I could take and accept what the journey was. But the rest of the week was in and out resistance and allowing. And a lot of awarenesses.
Yeah, you had a lot of consulta. So yes. A lot of conversations and direct
completely
words from the medicine, your higher self, right?
Conversations, they all happen in Spanish, which is my mother tongue. And I was having full-on conversations. Sometimes I would speak aloud. And it's funny because I kept saying, sí, when I got something. And then when I had those awarenesses, I would go, It was like, again, seems involuntary, but it was like, that's that. And that is that. So a lot of little awarenesses and pieces of information, like a little puzzle. But it went on a lot of the consultas went on a lot in this sort of exchange conversation. Mm-hmm. And then when it didn't, it went into my body, very physical. Yeah. I'm a yoga teacher, and I think that was needed for me because that's how I experience life.
Yep.
Very, very physical. And I just, at that point, I was like, whatever's happening in my body, obviously I'm not under control, but I like with the discomfort, trying to just go with it. Yeah.
And to a certain extent, you kind of were in control through all of this, right? You were in control.
And that's what I said yesterday when we were having our circle. It's like, I could feel the movements, the scene. Again, this is a pattern. I'm out of control, right? How we interpret. The filter was that. The filter is like, I'm not, but in reality, every time I was calm and I could just observe it, and I'm okay. Mm-hmm. And the next day it's like, well, I'm still okay. Yeah. So that meaning stopped having meaning. Yeah. Like it kept the hold that I had on it was like, no, that's not necessarily true. Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of experience, a lot of moving in and out of resistance, and obviously receiving lots of downloads to the medicine. Yes. Fast forward to this morning, Saturday morning, we are in our closing group. And always at the very beginning of the class, I ask who received their miracle this week. And I ask people to raise their hands. And I did. And she did not. She did not raise your hand. So you might be wondering, why is she on the I Got My Miracle Facebook Live, right? So this was only 5 hours ago when I asked, you said you did not receive your miracle. Now this class, we talk for about 2 hours. I go over a lot of the stuff that we've experienced through the week, information about integrating, what to expect as you move back into life, continued, right? Just sharing about what we at Rhythmia have experienced through, talking to thousands of guests that have been here, what is common in this integration process. And by the end of class, when we had about a 45-minute share where everyone had an opportunity to share, you raised your hand and you had something really beautiful to share about your experience. And you were in tears as you shared. So why don't you share what that awareness was and what that download? There's a bit of a story that goes along with it.
There is a story. So actually, when you asked and I didn't raise my hand, my roommate, she's like, what do you mean you didn't get your miracle? She's been talking to you. You've been having this conversation all along. And I said, like, yeah, but I don't think that's the miracle. And so I didn't raise. And then as people were sharing, I felt called to share what happened to me yesterday, which was we got the opportunity while you're here to go to the beach. And I wasn't going. I was going to the spa, which is amazing. And I was on my way to the spa. So I meet a couple of friends. They're waiting for the beach shuttle. And as I talk, the shuttle gets there. And I'm like, I'm going to go. That was not in my plans. And there I had an experience with a stingray, to see the least. Painful experience. I got stung by a stingray. And it was one of the most painful things I ever experienced, physical pain. And throughout the experience, not while I was there, but only when I was sitting there in the room, that's why the circle is so powerful, this closing experience. I don't know if I would have gotten it if we hadn't had that opportunity for me to say it. As I'm telling her the story, I started crying because I realized, oh my God, I cried so hard and I, was making sounds and screams like someone
visceral, primal,
total out of control. People were around me and I will watch their faces and the horror on the faces, and that would make me feel worse because that was a pattern. If I need to be always graceful and kind and just put everything in a pretty picture so other people can be happy
and feel safe.
And so my emotions had no space in the experience. And I was so the whole, I'm okay. I can do it. I can take care of it. It's okay. No, I'm fine. Even when I was hurt. But in that moment I was screaming, bloody murder. There was no not doing it. I could not do it because the pain was so excruciating. And in the process of being helped and being moved and being, cared for the doctor, it took a while. There was a big gap. So I was on that pain for a long time, or what it seemed forever. And so at a point where I thought and started saying aloud, I cannot bear it. I can't bear this. I can't bear it. And then I thought about it and I really felt, no, I know now that was my soul saying, cannot bear this. No, this burden of all these unexpressed issues. And the thing is that around age 12, I developed a speech impediment that it has no logical reason, and nothing wrong with my throat. And I just couldn't get words out when I felt unsafe or with new people that I thought. And I did ask for that healing. I did ask for my voice to come back to me, and it came back in the most scary, loud, ungraceful, right?
Imperfect way.
Imperfect way. Imperfect way. And so I know in my heart that this was my miracle. And the moment that I said it in front of you, everyone else that had been in the experience started to share how what happened to me helped them to realize a part of their miracle. And so I felt that it was like a co-creating miracle. And one last thing I think is important to say is my name is Maria del Mar, which means Maria from the ocean. I mean, seriously, could it be more special and unique? And I'm like, it was in my name the entire time.
You had to go home to the ocean in
And
order to remember.
And I always say the ocean is my medicine.
And now you actually can embody that in the truth of what it is. And the story, I mean, it's just so incredible. And, you know, we're always talking about plant medicine is Mother Nature, right? And when we're coming back to the medicine, we're coming back to the truth of who we are, which is part of nature. And so what a gift that, you know, this force of nature brought you this massive awakening, allowed you to break free of these chains that you've been, you know, holding yourself back in. And the freedom that you're probably feeling right now.
I feel so light, so light and so loved. And I also feel that I had never experienced me, the real me. And I mean, I'm speaking here. My voice is not breaking.
Yeah.
It's not breaking. I mean, seriously, it's just like it dawned on me. It would have been so hard. And I got it in that room. I say, I got my miracle.
Yeah, you did, sister. Yeah, you did. Oh, this makes me so happy. And it's funny, as we were walking here today, I was like, now to be clear, this Facebook Live is I got my miracle. You know, and she's like, oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. And this is why I thought this was a really beautiful story to share, because it's not so, the healing is not linear, right? So many times we have people come on here and they talk about their experience, you know, they set with their intention, they have a rough middle, you know, and by the end, it's a crystal clean miracle, right? It doesn't always look like that. So much of this experience with the medicine is your experience around the medicine. And it took this experience, which, you know, it was a breakdown before your breakthrough, right? And this is what it, you know, the medicine knew that this is what you needed in order to allow that voice to come through.
It took beyond that, because that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like, why? Because, you know, being here, you understand that life is working for you. So it's like, there's something here that I'm not getting. I just knew there was something that I wasn't getting. And I'm like, the idea didn't come until I unpacked it in the middle of the closing.
Yeah. So beautiful. And in this, the evidence of the importance of sharing, which is such a big part of the integration process with plant medicine. And this is why we have so many classes here meant specifically for this plant integration classes, these shared group classes, you know, the Answer Is You class that Kim normally teaches when she's here, all so important to help unpack, like you said, all of these experiences so that we can, you know, understand them better with our heart. So thank you so much for having the courage and the voice to share this with our viewers. And I'm sure that this will help many, many people. So
yes, thank you for the opportunity.
You're so welcome, sister. Safe travels.
Thank you.
And safe travels to you guys. We hope to see you here soon. Ciao for now.